Emmanuel awoke. The last thing he remembered was the chilly sensation of removing the spoon from his grenade. What followed he did not know. He felt the familiar touch of grass on his skin. Looking around, he soon realized he was back at the Stade de Martre, the air thick with conversation and pain. He turned his head, and through itching eyes he could see the twisted, bloody face of one of his brothers in arms. The pain hit Emmanuel hard and he slipped back into deathly sleep. Emmanuel awoke again. This time it was not grass he could feel in his back, but the lumps of a mattress he knew well. He stared up at the network of cracks in the ceiling, the desert landscape of his childhood daydreams. The pain was like a venom pulsing. He couldn't move. A voice from the corner of the room.
Emmanuel, you are awake at last.
Mother, is that you?
Of course. Be calm, my son. You are home now. It's over.
His mother approached the bed and stood over him, placing a warm hand on his cheek.
I am so glad to have you back. I am very lucky. Barely any of the men returned.
Emmanuel's mother turned and walked through the open door into the kitchen area. Emmanuel could hear the comforting sound of familial activity, the wooden spoon clunking on the side of the metal saucepan. She returned with a steaming bowl of maize porridge, topped with a mixture of curried okra and goat meat.
Here, son, you must eat,
she said, placing the bowl on the bedside table, and helping her son up into a sitting position. She raised a spoon to his lips.
You have been unconscious for 2 days. The military doctors in the Congo dress your wounds. They say you will be okay. The shrapnel was easily removed.
His body burned.
It hurts, Ma.
Don't worry. Rest easy. We still have some morphine left.
He swallowed a mouthful of what he knew in his heart was a delicious meal, but he could only taste the iron that had saturated his taste receptors. He breathed heavily. His mother took the needle and pushed it into her son's left arm and closed the gap between the plunger top and the capsule. A tear rolled down her cheek. She knew the time would come when she would have to disclose the true horror of his injury. His hip was shattered. The doctors had already removed his leg. Emmanuel quivered.
Emmanuel.
A faceless voice shouted from outside.
Not now. You must rest.
Emmanuel's mother said firmly as her son reacted with a jerk, moving her hand to his chest and pushing him lightly. He submitted, morphine numb, back into the mattress. The door thwacked against the thick wall of the room. 3 men entered, Togolese warriors. Through the dull haze of the painkiller, Emmanuel recognized the soldier who lay beside him at the stadium.
Friends,
he murmured, barely audible. The warrior spoke.
I must speak to Emmanuel, Mrs. Atipo. It is extremely urgent.
Not now. Please, my son is very weak. He must sleep.
I am sorry, Mrs. Atipo, but you must leave now.
The warrior took Emmanuel's mother by the arm and calmly led her out of the room, closing the door behind him.
Emmanuel, we are glad to see you are awake, brother.
What happened to us?
Emmanuel whispered.
After you breached the mansion, we stormed the president's office. We won, Emmanuel, but at a grave cost. The front group fired a rocket into the room and our group was annihilated. I was at the back of the crowd. I lost an eye to the shrapnel.
How many made it back?
About 20 of us, brother. Most of whom will never walk again. It was a disaster.
Tell him about Daroi.
Daroi has kept all the Congolese treasure for himself. It should be ours, Emmanuel. He is corrupt. The tribe will never see a penny for our blood. While you lie here, the king is furnishing himself in glory. No recompense has been offered, for my eye, for you with your leg.
It took all Emmanuel's strength to lift his left hand from his side to where his right leg used to be. In the moment of realization, his pain was replaced by pure terror, and a flush of memory as he thought back to the moment of crazed fury that had guided him to take the mansion alone. The strong leg that had carried him then was now void space.
We cannot let him get away with this, Emmanuel. The remaining warriors are angry, brother. All the survivors have agreed. We are going to poison the king tonight, him and his wretched coward son Jack Thompson. We need your approval to make it unanimous. The tribe will be ours.
The warrior lay a sympathetic hand on Emmanuel's shoulder. Emmanuel turned to look at his friend and nodded.
Do it.